That's right. Fuck. Chat. Have to turn on low latency. Okay, that sucks. What is happening? What is up? Worked, didn't it? Oh shit. I'm in trouble. Oh, I just dropped that. We should be good now. How you guys doing? I'm still not back in my chair on YouTube. Advanced settings. Playback and performance. Yeah, YouTube's never been good with this. How you doing, chat? Welcome to my channel. I know you're not watching me on YouTube because no one is. I got no fucking traction. That's fine. It's CHEWSDAY, isn't it? That's right, mate. I get everything just right, you know? Let's get going. It's getting late already. I need to get the news on. Hello? It is February 10th, folks. That's right.
Second video posted on. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Narmeen Sheikh. The Pentagon said Monday it had blown up another boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 2 people and leaving 1 survivor. An 11-second video
getting all the boats.
Social media
That's
by
disgusting.
U.S. Southern Command appears to show 3 airstrikes against a civilian speedboat. Southcom said, without evidence, the boat was engaged in narco-trafficking. Since September, the Pentagon says it's conducted 38 strikes, killing at least 130 people
guys.
it's labeled narco-terrorists, without providing evidence or attempting to make arrests. Amnesty International has condemned the strikes
evidence
as murder
against them.
and is calling on Congress to hold those responsible for them accountable.
Exactly.
Monday's reported
We have the video evidence.
came as U.S. forces in the Indian Ocean boarded a tanker carrying hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil from Venezuela toward China. It's at least the 8th time the U.S. has boarded an oil tanker since the Trump administration moved to control.
Dude, we are literally pirates. This isn't just a simple thing. This is like crazy. The fuck?
Venezuela's oil supply. In related news, Cuba's government announced Monday it's run out of fuel for commercial aviation, prompting Air Canada to cancel flights to and from the island. The cancellations threaten to further damage Cuba's economy,
no one can
which
fly there
relies
now.
heavily on tourism. The fuel shortage comes as the Trump administration has largely shut off energy supplies to Cuba from Venezuela and elsewhere, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio and other high-level officials seek to overthrow the Cuban government. On Monday, Mexico's government acknowledged it had suspended oil exports to Cuba after leaders came under intense pressure from Trump, who threatened new tariffs against any nation that exports fuel to the island. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said she was instead sending hundreds of tons of humanitarian goods to Cuba.
Let's go.
Es muy injusto esta sanción que se está imponiendo.
This sanction being imposed on countries that sell oil to Cuba is very unjust, very unfair. It's not right because sanctions that affect the people are not right. You can agree or disagree with Cuba's government, but the people should never be affected.
Israel's Security Cabinet has approved new measures which would expand Israel's power across the occupied West Bank and make it easier for settlers to seize Palestinian land illegally. On Monday, 8 Muslim-majority countries denounced Israel for imposing, quote, unlawful Israeli sovereignty over the occupied West Bank. A White House official told Reuters that President Trump was opposed to Israel annexing the West Bank, saying, quote, a stable West Bank keeps Israel secure and is in line with this administration's goal to achieve peace in the region. President Trump is scheduled to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House Wednesday. This is a Palestinian resident of Hebron reacting to Israel's latest annexation plan.
As Palestinians, before October 7th, we suffered from successive Israeli governments. But this right-wing government, led by Netanyahu and the far-right minister Smotrich, has intensified actions on the ground: displacement, destruction of land, land confiscation, killing, and vandalism. This government is a fascist government and wants to control all areas of the West Bank.
Israeli attacks across Gaza have killed at least 7 Palestinians over the past 24 hours. 4 of the deaths came as Israeli forces bombed a residential building sheltering displaced people in Gaza City, an attack that sparked panic and left several others wounded. Israel has killed 581 Palestinians since a U.S.-brokered ceasefire was supposed to have taken effect last October. Meanwhile, an investigation by Al Jazeera Arabic has found that thermal and thermobaric munitions supplied to Israel by the U.S. have evaporated nearly 3,000 Palestinians in attacks since October 2023, leaving behind no remains other than blood spray or small fragments of flesh. In Sydney, Australia,
that is horrible.
Yeah, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets Monday to protest a visit by Israeli President Isaac Herzog and calling for an end to Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories.
Is, as most people are saying, a war criminal. He has incited genocide. He said there's no innocents in Gaza, including babies and children. And I just don't think someone like that should come here.
Sydney police were widely accused of using excessive force after videos showed they fired pepper spray at peaceful protesters, punched demonstrators, including an elderly man, and forcibly removed Muslims who were praying in the street. Dozens of people were pepper sprayed and 27 were arrested.
Crazy chat.
Ghislaine Maxwell,
Crazy.
the convicted associate of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, repeatedly pleaded the Fifth Amendment and refused to answer lawmakers' questions in a closed-door deposition before the House Oversight Committee on Monday. After the hearing, Democratic Congressmember Melanie Stansbury said Maxwell used the opportunity to make her case for clemency.
Her silence can be bought through clemency. It is very clear that that is the message that she is trying to send directly to Donald Trump himself. Directly.
This comes as several lawmakers are criticizing the Justice Department, claiming that the Epstein files still contain major redactions. This is Congressmember Ro Khanna and Congressmember Thomas Massey speaking to reporters Monday.
I mean, what we're after is the men who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked women to. We want those names published.
Our bigger concern is that there's still a lot that's redacted. Even in what we're seeing redacted versions. I thought we were supposed to see the unredacted versions, and that's because the documents produced to justice from the FBI, from the grand jury, was redacted when they got it.
The UN's International Organization for Migration says 53 people are dead or missing, including 2 babies, after an inflatable boat carrying migrants sank off the coast of Libya.
Oh.
The UN agency said, quote, trafficking and smuggling networks continue to exploit migrants along the central Mediterranean route. So far in 2026, 484 migrants have been reported dead or missing along the route. Here in the U.S., a federal judge has struck down a new California law banning federal immigration agents from wearing masks. U.S. District Judge Christina Snyder in Los Angeles ruled Monday that the law discriminates against federal officers since it doesn't make the same requirements of state and local police. She suggested the ban would be lawful if it applied to all officers and ruled in favor of a separate California law that requires all law enforcement agents to display their IDs. The family of Leka Kordia, a 33-year-old Palestinian woman, are demanding answers after she was hospitalized from a reported seizure while being held in an ICE jail in North Texas. Kordia had participated in the Gaza Solidarity protests at Columbia University and was arrested by ICE agents last year for staying in the U.S. on a lapsed student visa. Her family and lawyers have received limited information about her condition. Texas State Representative Salman Bojani said, quote, she's not been getting proper nutrition, it seems, and not getting proper sleep. He also mentioned it took nearly 24 hours for Kordia's legal team to confirm she was in the hospital. There have been multiple court orders allowing Kordia to be released on bond, but the Department of Homeland Security has repeatedly blocked her release. An immigration judge has rejected the Trump administration's efforts to deport Tufts University student Romesa Öztürk after she was arrested last year by masked immigration agents outside her apartment. According to her lawyers, she was arrested as part of the Trump administration's crackdown on pro-Palestinian activists. Authorities had revoked her student visa for an editorial she co-authored in Tufts student newspaper criticizing the university's response to Israel's war on Gaza. In a statement, Öztürk said, quote, today I breathe a sigh of relief knowing that despite the justice system's flaws, my case may give hope to those who have also been wronged by the U.S. government.
Wow.
In climate news, the Wall Street Journal reports the Trump administration is planning this week to formally end the Obama-era scientific determination that greenhouse gas emissions endanger public health. The finding is the basis of a 2009 rule that allowed the Environmental Protection Agency to set limits on greenhouse gas pollution from cars, power plants, and other sources. It's likely Trump's efforts to roll back the finding will face years of legal challenges, but its repeal will immediately eliminate climate standards for passenger cars and commercial trucks. Here in New York, more than 10,000 nurses who've been on strike since January 12th have reached tentative deals on new contracts with hospitals run by Mount Sinai and Montefiore.
Okay.
The New York State Nurses Association is recommending members ratify the agreements, which include salary increases of 12% over 3 years, improvements to staffing levels, improved workplace safety, and guardrails on the use of artificial intelligence. About 5,000 nurses remain on strike at New York Presbyterian hospitals while negotiations continue. And in California, public schools are closed across San Francisco for a second straight day after some 6,000 educators walked off the job Monday. It's San Francisco's first teacher strike in nearly half a century. The United Educators of San Francisco Union is demanding fully funded family health care for workers, improvements to special education, and salary increases that do not come at the cost of concessions or takeaways from schools. This is Megan Adams, president of Smart Union Local 1741, representing bus drivers.
We all live paycheck to paycheck. This is something that I know is a sacrifice for all of us, but it's, you know what? We all know that the district has the money. This is something that's been proven time and time again. They need to come to the table and they need to make a deal and get our educators and our schools back open.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Nermeen Sheikh in New York, joined by Amy Goodman in Los Angeles.
Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.
Okay, folks.
Hi, it's Monday, February 9th, 2026. You're tuned into Why America. I'm your lawyer friend, Legia Miller in Minneapolis. 2025 was the deadliest year on record for ICE detainees. 2 cases of measles have been confirmed at the Dilley Family Detention Center in Texas. DHS has recently partnered with the Navy to buy up massive industrial buildings to be turned into immigrant detention facilities.
Disgusting.
Headlines like this have cropped up over the last week that, taken by themselves, are pretty horrific. But I wanted to connect some dots so we can get a bigger picture of what's going on in the increasingly opaque world of immigrant detention in the United States. Reportedly, over 70,000 people are in immigrant detention in the U.S. right now, an unprecedented number and a 75% increase since the beginning of Trump 2.0.
What?
And by all accounts, that number will continue to grow as ICE uses its bloated budget, thanks to the big beautiful bill, to erect more and more hastily built facilities to shove people into under abhorrent conditions. The increased funding through 2029, along with newly uncovered government contracts through the Navy, usually meant for foreign disasters, could create, as one reporter put it, a ghost network of concentration camps on U.S. soil. The work is already well underway, but the worst is likely still to come for the tens of thousands of people, immigrants and U.S. citizens alike, who are being disappeared from our streets and secreted away to facilities that the Trump regime doesn't want anyone to know about.
What is happening?
Thank you to my partner on today's video, PDS Debt. Credit card debt sucks. I have store-specific your credit bureau boasts hundreds of /millions. Detention centers are not part of the criminal justice process. Immigration detention is categorized as civil detention, meaning people detained there are not meant to be detained as punishment. It is simply a place to hold people while their immigration case moves through the system. The system is incredibly, horribly backlogged, so that can mean people stay in immigration detention for months or more. Some may be able to make bond and be released pending their hearings, but many cannot afford bond. Because this is not criminal court or imprisonment, people moving through the immigration system have the right to an attorney, but one will not be provided for them. They have to access and pay for one themselves. This means that many people moving through the system are self-represented. They do not have lawyers. This includes unaccompanied children. So there are 5-year-olds just appearing in immigration court without lawyers representing themselves. According to DHS's own data, which I think any data coming out of the federal government at this point should be taken with a grain of salt, but even by their own data, only 5% of detainees have been convicted of violent crimes. 5%. About 26% of detained immigrants had a criminal conviction, though it's unclear for what crimes. Again, speeding is a misdemeanor and technically a criminal conviction. And another 26% have pending criminal charges. Again, remember the whole innocent until proven guilty thing. This could mean they have an outstanding traffic ticket, or charges that they will be acquitted for, or bogus trumped up charges, because the regime is quick to charge anyone with assaulting an ICE officer if they even look at them the wrong way. So again, 5% of detainees have been convicted of violent crimes. 5%. 5%. Why are we even talking about this? Of detainees in the immigration detention centers in the United States have never been convicted of violent crimes.
Hold on, YouTube. I gotta fix something.
And they are being held in detention centers in